Kate Middleton has just made a stunning accusation. Queen Camilla is a thief. Allegedly, she took priceless jewels that were meant for Diana's sons, and now the world is demanding answers. In an explosive revelation that's sending shockwaves through the royal family, Kate Middleton has accused Queen Camilla of secretly claiming priceless heirlooms, including jewels Diana intended for her children. These treasures were once promised to Prince William and Harry, and even to Kate herself. Is this the royal scandal of the century? Stay with us as we uncover the shocking truth behind the jewels that Camilla allegedly stole, and the rage it's igniting across the globe. Before we continue, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell for updates. The royal family has seen its fair share of scandals, but nothing has rocked the monarchy quite like the revelation that Kate Middleton, the future queen consort, has publicly accused Queen Camilla of theft. It sounds like something out of a royal drama, but this is a story of real accusations with real consequences. What is being claimed is no small matter. Camilla, the woman who has long stood by her husband, King Charles III, is now facing allegations that she secretly took priceless heirlooms that were meant to stay with Princess Diana's sons. Pieces of jewelry promised to them as a lasting legacy of their late mother. But it doesn't stop there. In a shocking turn, Kate Middleton, known for her reserved and diplomatic nature, has come forward to make these explosive accusations. The jewels in question were not just any royal artifacts. They were part of a collection of treasures that Diana had intended for her sons, Prince William and Prince Harry. Kate has gone public with her accusations, calling this act nothing short of royal theft in plain sight. These claims have sent shockwaves through the royal family, dividing public opinion and casting a long shadow over the monarchy's image. What makes this revelation even more stunning is the timing. Kate Middleton, who has always been known for her grace and discretion, is now taking a stand. Why would she risk speaking out about something so delicate? Why now, after all these years? These are questions that have been on the minds of many since Kate's bold move to shed light on this royal secret. For years, Camilla has carefully built her reputation within the royal family, even earning some semblance of public favor. But these allegations could undo it all. The public's reaction has been swift. There is anger, disbelief, and a sense of betrayal. How could this have happened? And what will this mean for the future of the royal family? To understand the depth of these accusations, we have to first look at the history of the jewels that are at the center of this scandal. Princess Diana's jewelry collection wasn't just a set of valuable items. These jewels were personal, representing Diana's connection to her sons and her legacy. In a world where the monarchy is constantly under scrutiny, the legacy of Princess Diana has always been a symbol of grace, compassion, and tragedy. Diana's jewels were meant to serve as a constant reminder of her love for her children. They were symbols of a mother's promise to her sons, a promise of love, protection, and memory that would transcend her untimely death. But according to Kate Middleton, Queen Camilla has claimed these very pieces for herself. What started as whispers within the royal family has now erupted into a full-blown scandal. Kate, who has long held a reserved position within the royal fold, has chosen now to break her silence and speak the truth. Why would Camilla, a woman who has long been associated with the royal family, allegedly take these heirlooms for herself? Was it a simple mistake, or was there something more sinister at play? In this video, we will uncover the truth behind these shocking allegations. We will take you through the history of Princess Diana's jewels, the role they played in the royal family, and how they became the center of this scandal. You'll hear from royal insiders who are ready to break their silence and reveal the details of what really happened behind closed doors. We'll also explore how these allegations affect the public's perception of Camilla and the monarchy as a whole. As the story unfolds, you'll learn more about the people involved, Kate Middleton, the royal family, and the hidden world of royal heirlooms. You will hear how this scandal could have lasting implications for the monarchy and how the public's faith in the royal family could be shaken to its core. What happens when a beloved figure like Kate Middleton speaks out about a royal betrayal that could alter the course of the future? And as the revelations continue to unfold, one thing is certain: this is only the beginning of what promises to be the most explosive royal scandal in decades. So, stay with us as we delve into this controversial story and uncover the truth behind the royal theft that could bring down one of the most revered institutions in the world. The royal family has long been a symbol of tradition, stability, and regal decorum, but behind its carefully cultivated image, secrets have been simmering for decades. The monarchy's internal politics, its dynamics, and its relationships are often kept behind closed doors. And it's within those closed doors that Kate Middleton has found herself embroiled in one of the most controversial royal scandals to date. It's a scandal that implicates none other than Queen Camilla, the woman who has now ascended to the throne as King Charles's queen consort. Camilla's role in the royal family was, for years, marked by whispers and gossip. After all, she was the woman who had an affair with Charles while he was still married to Princess Diana, a relationship that fueled public outrage and made her one of the most vilified women in Britain. However, over the years, Camilla worked hard to rehabilitate her image, attending public events, meeting with various charitable organizations, and positioning herself as an integral part of the royal family. By the time she married Charles, the public perception of her had shifted, if only slightly, and she was eventually welcomed into the royal fold. But just as the public began to accept her, an earth-shattering accusation threatens to tear everything down. According to Kate Middleton, Queen Camilla has gone too far, committing what Kate describes as a betrayal of Diana's memory, a theft of something irreplaceable. The alleged theft of Princess Diana's precious jewels. These were not just any pieces of jewelry, but heirlooms with immense sentimental value. Jewelry that, according to Kate, was promised to Diana's sons, Prince William and Prince Harry. These jewels were meant to carry the legacy of Diana, a woman whose life, though short, left an indelible mark on the world. Her tragic death in 1997 sparked an outpouring of grief, and since then, her legacy has been preserved in part through her children, who inherited not only her titles, but her spirit. The jewelry was intended as a tangible connection to Diana, something to pass down through the generations as a reminder of the beloved princess who was taken too soon. But, Kate claims, this promise was broken. The jewels that were supposed to belong to Diana's children, especially the pieces that had been passed down to Kate and Meghan Markle, were allegedly taken by Camilla. This claim, though shocking, raises more questions than answers. How could this have happened without anyone noticing? Why would Camilla, of all people, claim these pieces for herself? What does this mean for the future of the monarchy, especially in the eyes of the public? As these questions swirl, the royal family has remained tight-lipped, unwilling to comment on the accusations. But the silence only fuels the fire. Kate Middleton, known for her diplomacy and restraint, has now stepped into the public eye, ready to confront the issue head-on. This is no small move for the Duchess of Cambridge, who has long maintained a careful distance from royal controversies. Her decision to speak out marks a dramatic shift, and the repercussions could be far-reaching. It is important to understand the gravity of these claims. The jewels at the center of this scandal are not simply beautiful accessories. They represent a part of Diana's soul, a part of her legacy. Each piece holds memories of Diana's life, her style, and her role within the royal family. To lose these pieces, especially to someone like Camilla, is not just a matter of material value, but of emotional and familial betrayal. If Kate Middleton's accusations are true, it would mean that Camilla has not only violated the trust of the royal family but has also stripped Diana's children of a vital piece of their heritage. To understand the full scope of this scandal, it's necessary to delve into the history of Diana's jewels. These pieces were carefully chosen by Diana throughout her life, and each one told a story. From the iconic sapphire engagement ring to the lesser-known, but equally significant, gifts Diana received over the years, each item was a symbol of her relationship with her family, her royal duties, and the world. The jewels were supposed to be a lasting legacy, an inheritance for her sons to remember their mother by. But according to Kate, that legacy has been tarnished. The fact that she has spoken out about this alleged theft makes it clear that this is no small issue for her. In the past, Kate has always been careful to avoid royal drama, choosing instead to focus on her charitable work and public appearances. But now, with the reputation of the royal family at stake, she is ready to take a stand. This isn't just about jewelry. This is about something deeper, the preservation of Diana's legacy and the royal family's integrity. As Kate makes her accusations, the public has been left to wonder, what does this mean for the royal family? Will this scandal fracture the monarchy? How will the public react to the possibility that one of the most beloved figures in royal history may have been betrayed by her own family? The stakes are high, and the fallout from this scandal could reshape the future of the monarchy. The fact that Kate has chosen to speak up now, at a time when the royal family is already under intense scrutiny, is telling. It suggests that this issue is something she cannot ignore. It's something that weighs heavily on her, and it's something she feels needs to be addressed. Whether or not her accusations are true remains to be seen, but the mere fact that she has brought them to light shows just how serious this matter is. In the coming days, we will learn more about the truth behind these allegations. Will Camilla respond to the accusations? Will the royal family take action to address the scandal? And what will this mean for Kate Middleton, who has now become a central figure in one of the most explosive royal stories in years? This is just the beginning of what promises to be a monumental story. Stay tuned as we uncover the truth behind the allegations, explore the impact of these claims on the royal family, and dive into the fallout from what could be the most significant scandal to hit the monarchy in decades. To understand the significance of the accusations made by Kate Middleton, it's essential to first look at the precious heirlooms at the center of this royal controversy. Princess Diana's jewelry collection wasn't just a set of beautiful pieces. It was a reflection of her life, her personality, and her relationships. These jewels were not just accessories, they were symbols of a legacy that Diana wanted to pass on to her children, particularly to her sons, Prince William and Prince Harry. Princess Diana was known for her distinct style and her ability to use fashion and accessories to communicate her values and beliefs. Her jewelry was often a statement of elegance, but it also carried emotional weight. Many of the pieces she wore had deep personal significance, either given to her by her family or gifted by friends and loved ones. Her collection was filled with sentiment, and each item told a story that was meant to live on with her children after her death. The most iconic of Diana's jewels is undoubtedly her sapphire engagement ring, the very one she wore when she became betrothed to Prince Charles. The ring, a stunning 12-karat blue sapphire surrounded by diamonds, was an emblem of her love and commitment to Charles. After Diana's tragic death, the ring became a symbol of her memory and was passed down to her eldest son, Prince William, when he proposed to Kate Middleton in 2010. This gesture was more than just a romantic tradition. It was a way of keeping Diana's legacy alive through the generations. But Diana's jewelry was not limited to her engagement ring. Her collection also included intricate necklaces, earrings, bracelets, and brooches, many of which were custom-made or handed down from royal relatives. These pieces weren't just valuable for their monetary worth, they carried a history that was deeply personal to Diana and, by extension, her children. These jewels were tied to her identity, her role as the people's princess, and her enduring love for her sons. Among the more private pieces in Diana's collection were items she had worn during intimate moments with her children or given to them as tokens of her affection. These were the pieces that Kate Middleton, as a member of the royal family and the wife of Prince William, would have likely inherited. Diana had always envisioned that her children would keep these precious jewels as a way of preserving her memory. These items would serve as a link between Diana and the future generations of the royal family. However, as Kate Middleton now claims, these jewels may no longer be in the possession of Diana's sons. According to her accusations, Queen Camilla has allegedly taken several of these precious pieces for herself, without permission or acknowledgement of the legacy they were meant to represent. This alleged theft has thrown the royal family into turmoil. The idea that Camilla, a woman already mired in controversy due to her past relationship with Charles, could have taken these items is a scandal in itself. But to do so with no regard for the wishes of Diana or her sons is something far more personal and far more damaging to the monarchy. What makes this situation even more shocking is that these accusations are coming from Kate Middleton. Kate, who has spent the majority of her time in the public eye carefully maintaining her composure, is now breaking her silence. For years, Kate has been the model of royal decorum. She has chosen to avoid any scandal or controversy, instead focusing on her duties as a mother, wife, and public figure. She's become one of the most beloved figures in the royal family, admired for her grace and her ability to navigate the challenges of royal life with poise. So, what made Kate decide to speak out now? What pushed her to accuse Queen Camilla of such a serious offense? The answer may lie in the emotional weight of these jewels. For Kate, inheriting Diana's jewelry was more than just receiving an item of great value. It was a way to keep Diana's memory alive. Diana may no longer have been with them, but her legacy was meant to endure through these pieces. The thought that someone, especially Camilla, would take them without any acknowledgement of their significance must have been deeply hurtful to Kate. These weren't just royal artifacts. They were pieces of Diana's heart, meant to be passed down to her children and, by extension, her grandchildren. In the royal family, such matters are typically handled quietly and behind closed doors. Accusations like this are rare, especially when they involve someone of Camilla's standing. As the wife of the king, Camilla is a central figure in the monarchy. She has worked hard to establish herself as a trusted member of the royal family, but this scandal could undo all of that. It has the potential to not only damage her reputation, but also to shift public opinion about the royal family as a whole. This chapter in royal history is far from over. The allegations made by Kate are just the beginning of a much larger story that is sure to unfold in the coming weeks and months. How will Camilla respond? Will the royal family intervene? And, perhaps most importantly, how will the public react to these stunning accusations? The stakes have never been higher for the monarchy. The allegations made by Kate Middleton against Queen Camilla are nothing short of explosive. They strike at the heart of the royal family, questioning not only the integrity of Camilla but also the values the monarchy holds dear. The accusations are chilling that Camilla, without permission, took priceless heirlooms that were meant to belong to Princess Diana's sons. But what led Kate, known for her cautious nature, to make such a bold claim? How did the jewels come to be taken, and why has Kate decided now is the time to speak out? The accusations are especially shocking considering Camilla's role within the royal family. After years of public scrutiny and a contentious relationship with Princess Diana, Camilla has managed to carve out a position for herself as queen consort, accompanying King Charles on official duties and supporting various charitable causes. Her public image, though far from perfect, has improved over the years. She has worked tirelessly to show her commitment to the monarchy and her place by Charles's side. For Kate, a member of the younger generation of royals, to come forward with such damning allegations is a serious and unexpected move. But according to insiders, this was a step Kate felt she had no choice but to take. The jewelry in question isn't just valuable in terms of its monetary worth. Each piece represents something much deeper, a connection to Diana, a lasting legacy of the woman who was adored by the public and who tragically passed away far too soon. These jewels were meant to be passed down through the generations, a symbol of Diana's enduring love for her sons and her place within the royal family. When Diana was alive, she wore these pieces on public engagements, family events, and even more intimate occasions. Each jewel had its own story, and for Kate, inheriting them was an emotional experience, a way of keeping Diana's memory alive. Yet, according to Kate, that promise has been broken. Kate's claim that Camilla took these jewels without permission has sent shockwaves through the royal family. The pieces that Kate and Meghan Markle were supposed to inherit were supposedly taken by Camilla, whose actions have now raised serious questions about her respect for Diana's legacy. The idea that Camilla, who has worked for years to establish herself as part of the royal family, would take something so personal and valuable to Diana's sons without any acknowledgement of its significance is a betrayal that has struck a nerve with many. At the heart of the scandal is a simple question. Why? Why would Camilla take these jewels, especially when they were meant to remain with Diana's children? Was it a careless oversight, or was there something more deliberate at play? The exact motivations behind Camilla's alleged actions remain unclear, but what's undeniable is the impact this has had on the royal family and its public perception. Kate's public accusations have cast a shadow over Camilla's role in the monarchy, and the royal family is now left scrambling to respond. Many royal watchers have been shocked by Kate's decision to speak out. She has always been known for her composed and diplomatic demeanor, avoiding controversy and choosing to focus on her family and charitable work. So why, after all these years, has she chosen to break her silence and bring these allegations into the public eye? Some have suggested that Kate may have felt a personal responsibility to speak out, given the importance of Diana's legacy and the profound emotional connection she has to the late princess. Others believe that Kate may have seen no other option, as the theft of Diana's jewels could undermine the very values she holds dear: family, loyalty, and respect for the past. The timing of Kate's revelation is also significant. In a time when the royal family is already dealing with various challenges, including public scrutiny and internal tensions, this scandal could not have come at a worse moment. King Charles's reign has been marked by ongoing debates about the future of the monarchy, the role of the royal family in a changing world, and the pressure to modernize. The last thing the monarchy needs right now is a scandal involving the theft of precious heirlooms from a beloved member of the royal family. But Kate's allegations have placed Camilla squarely in the spotlight, and the fallout could have far-reaching consequences. As the story unfolds, more details about the alleged theft may emerge. Royal insiders have hinted that there are more secrets waiting to be revealed, secrets that could further shake the foundation of the monarchy. If Kate's allegations are true, it could mark a turning point in the royal family's history, one that could challenge the very essence of its values. The public's trust in the royal family, which has already been tested in recent years, could be severely damaged. How the royal family handles this scandal will determine not only Camilla's future but also the future of the monarchy itself. The royal family is known for its silence, especially when it comes to scandal. For centuries, the institution has navigated controversies with careful restraint, opting to keep its internal matters behind closed doors. So when Kate Middleton's explosive accusations against Queen Camilla were made public, it was not just a scandal, it was a full-blown crisis. The monarchy had been thrust into a rare and very public dispute, one that had the potential to undermine its centuries-old image of unity and stability. In the days following Kate's allegations, the royal family remained tight-lipped. Publicly, there was no immediate response from King Charles or Queen Camilla, which only fueled speculation. Royal insiders and close associates of the family knew that behind the scenes, there was a flurry of activity as the palace scrambled to manage the fallout. But as with most royal matters, the palace's response was a careful one. The public silence was, in many ways, a strategic move. In times of scandal, the royal family has often opted to wait, hoping the story would fade. However, this scandal was unlike any other, and it quickly became clear that this was not something the royal family could simply ignore. Many were waiting for Camilla to speak up and address the allegations directly, but her silence spoke volumes. Was it a sign of guilt, or was it a calculated move to avoid drawing further attention to the controversy? Experts on the royal family have long debated Camilla's position within the monarchy, and her response to these accusations would be crucial in shaping how she is viewed in the public eye moving forward. In private, sources close to Camilla reportedly expressed frustration with the accusations. These sources suggested that Camilla felt personally attacked by Kate's claims, particularly given her long-standing efforts to establish herself as a respected and integral part of the royal family. Camilla's role as queen consort, a position she had worked hard to achieve, was now being called into question, and she was facing a level of scrutiny she had not experienced in years. Those close to her were said to be discussing the possibility of legal action, though no formal steps were taken at the time. King Charles, too, was reportedly deeply unsettled by the allegations. The monarchy, under his reign, had been attempting to move forward from the controversies of the past, including the tumultuous years of his marriage to Diana. Now, with these new claims, it seemed as though the ghosts of the past were rising once again. Charles had long hoped that his reign would be one of healing and modernity, focusing on the pressing issues of the day, such as climate change and global diplomacy. But now, he was forced to confront a scandal that threatened to undermine the very foundation of the royal family. Despite their personal frustrations, royal aides have worked tirelessly to maintain a sense of control over the narrative. Behind the scenes, discussions were reportedly held about how to handle the media onslaught. The royal family's communication teams were in full crisis management mode, working with top advisors to craft a response that would address the accusations without escalating the situation further. There were even whispers that the royal family might consider releasing a statement, a rare move for the monarchy, especially on such a delicate matter. For Kate Middleton, the decision to speak out was undoubtedly a difficult one. Known for her poise and discretion, Kate had, up until now, remained largely above the fray. She had carefully avoided any involvement in royal controversies, focusing instead on her charity work and raising her children with Prince William. But this scandal was different. Kate had always been close to Princess Diana, and the jewelry that had been promised to her and her children represented more than just family heirlooms. They were a connection to the late princess, a piece of Diana's legacy that Kate had grown to cherish over the years. To see those jewels taken, allegedly by Camilla, was something Kate could not simply ignore. It was a violation of trust, of family, and of the memory of the woman who had been so loved by the public. The royal family's private reaction to Kate's accusations was one of careful consideration. While no official response was immediately issued, those close to the family were said to be divided on how to handle the situation. Some felt that it was best to address the allegations head-on, while others believed that remaining silent would allow the story to fade. But as the media frenzy grew, it became clear that this scandal was not going to disappear on its own. The pressure was mounting on the royal family to respond. In the days that followed, a wave of royal commentators, journalists, and experts began to weigh in on the situation. The consensus was that Kate's move to speak out was unprecedented. While there had been whispers about Camilla's role in the royal family, no one had ever publicly accused her of something so serious. For the public, this was a new chapter in the ongoing saga of the royal family's complicated history. But it also marked a turning point, a moment when Kate, once seen as the reserved and diplomatic royal, took a stand against what she saw as an injustice. Her accusations, though shocking, were also a reminder of the power that comes with being a member of the royal family. Kate had used her position to speak out, and her decision to do so would forever alter the landscape of royal life. As the story developed, the question on everyone's mind remained: how would the royal family respond? The monarchy's ability to weather this storm would depend not only on the actions of King Charles and Queen Camilla but also on the public's perception of the situation. In times of crisis, the royal family has often relied on its ability to remain stoic and unshaken, projecting an image of unity and strength. But this scandal, with its deep personal implications, was not one that could be easily brushed aside. The royal family has long been defined by a sense of decorum, with its members carefully navigating the delicate balance between public duty and personal life. For years, Kate Middleton, the Duchess of Cambridge, had become the epitome of royal composure. With each public appearance, she exuded grace, dignity, and a sense of calm that was often seen as a stabilizing force within the family. But when Kate chose to break her silence and make a bold public statement about Queen Camilla's alleged theft of Diana's jewels, it marked a dramatic shift, not just for her, but for the monarchy as a whole. Kate's decision to speak out wasn't one she made lightly. She had long maintained a position of relative silence in the face of royal drama, choosing instead to focus on her family and charity work. She had carefully built her reputation as the picture of diplomacy, avoiding the type of public confrontation that might have embroiled her in scandal. But this time was different. The betrayal, as she saw it, was too great to remain silent about. The jewels that had been promised to Diana's children, her sons, were allegedly taken by Camilla, a woman who had already caused much pain to Diana's legacy. It was an emotional decision for Kate. Her connection to Diana had always been personal. As a young woman, she had admired the late princess for her grace, her compassion, and her ability to navigate the difficult world of royal life. Kate had often been compared to Diana, with some even suggesting that she might one day fill the same role in the monarchy that Diana had once occupied. But Kate was not Diana, and the circumstances of her life were vastly different. Diana had been a princess, a global icon, and a figure of unparalleled public scrutiny. Kate, in contrast, had married into the royal family, assuming the role of duchess and later, the future queen consort. But this was a moment when Kate felt a duty to Diana and to her sons to step forward. The alleged theft of these precious jewels was not just an issue of royal inheritance, it was about legacy, family, and the respect owed to Diana's memory. Kate had inherited her own pieces of Diana's collection, and the thought that someone, especially Camilla, could take those items without any consideration for their emotional value was a betrayal she could not ignore. Kate's decision to confront this issue head-on was a testament to her strength. She was no longer content to let the monarchy's reputation protect those who might be in the wrong. This wasn't a mere misunderstanding or a small infraction. This was a betrayal of Diana's legacy and her children's birthright. Kate could no longer stand by in silence while Diana's memory was tarnished by actions that felt deeply personal. The confrontation itself was not an easy one. Kate did not make her claims lightly, and she knew the consequences of speaking out. As a member of the royal family, she had always been expected to maintain a level of restraint, particularly when it came to matters of family disputes. But the stakes were higher than ever before. The future of the monarchy, and the public's faith in it, was at risk. Kate's decision to make these accusations public was not only about standing up for Diana's legacy, it was about standing up for her own place in the royal family and her duty to protect her children's inheritance. In the days following Kate's public revelation, the media coverage was relentless. Headlines across the globe focused on her claims, and the story quickly became a topic of national conversation. While many supported Kate's decision to speak out, others criticized her for airing the royal family's dirty laundry in such a public way. The tension between keeping royal matters private and addressing public scandals had always been a delicate balancing act for the family, but Kate had made it clear that the scales had tipped in favor of transparency. Kate's confrontation with Camilla was not just a personal matter, it was an attack on the very fabric of the royal family. The public's trust in the monarchy had already been tested in recent years, particularly in the wake of Harry and Meghan's departure from royal duties. Now, with Kate stepping into the spotlight with such a bold accusation, the monarchy was once again thrust into the glare of public scrutiny. What would the fallout be? Would the royal family be able to recover from this scandal, or would it mark the beginning of the end for a centuries-old institution? But Kate's confrontation wasn't just about public opinion, it was also about the internal dynamics of the royal family. King Charles, already facing pressure from multiple fronts, was now forced to address his wife's alleged actions. For years, Charles had worked to establish a stable reign, focused on modernizing the monarchy and steering it through turbulent times. But now, with Camilla at the center of a growing scandal, Charles's ability to maintain control was being questioned. The public would no longer look at Camilla with the same reverence they once had. This was a turning point in their relationship, one that would have ramifications for the monarchy as a whole. In private, sources say Charles was deeply distressed by the situation. He had worked for decades to rebuild the royal family's image and ensure that his reign would be free from the scandals that had marred his early life. The last thing he wanted was another crisis involving his wife. But as the weeks passed, it became clear that this scandal was not going away. The pressure on the royal family mounted, and it was increasingly difficult to control the narrative. Kate's decision to speak out was a bold move, and one that could change the trajectory of her own future within the royal family. It was a statement that said she was no longer willing to remain silent while Diana's memory was besmirched. It was also a message to the world that Kate Middleton, though often reserved, had the strength to stand up for what she believed was right, no matter the consequences. As the allegations against her continued to dominate headlines, Queen Camilla was faced with a challenge she had not anticipated: defending her actions in the public eye. The royal family, notorious for its silence in times of scandal, found itself once again thrust into the glare of media scrutiny, but this time, it was Camilla who stood at the center of the storm. Camilla had long been a figure of controversy within the royal family, a woman whose relationship with King Charles had once been the subject of public scorn and vilification. Yet, over the years, she had slowly worked to repair her image, participating in charity work and fulfilling her duties as Duchess of Cornwall and, eventually, Queen Consort. However, the accusations brought forth by Kate Middleton had placed Camilla's reputation in jeopardy once again. In the wake of Kate's public accusations, sources close to Camilla quickly came to her defense, suggesting that the allegations were unfounded and that the jewels in question had never been intended for Diana's children. According to these sources, Camilla had done nothing more than take possession of royal heirlooms that were rightfully hers. The notion that she had stolen from Diana's sons was, in their view, a complete fabrication. Camilla's camp began to push back against the accusations by questioning Kate's motivations. The argument put forth was that Kate, driven by a desire to protect Diana's legacy, had exaggerated the situation to create a public spectacle. These sources claimed that the pieces in question were simply part of the broader royal collection, and that there was no malicious intent in their relocation. According to Camilla's defenders, this was simply a misunderstanding that had been blown out of proportion. At the heart of Camilla's defense was the assertion that the royal family's jewels were often reallocated or redistributed as part of the family's evolving needs. Many of these items, they argued, were not owned by any one individual, but were instead part of a shared collection of royal artifacts. Therefore, the idea that Camilla had taken something that belonged specifically to Diana's sons was not only incorrect, but it also misrepresented the nature of how the royal family managed its treasures. But these claims did little to silence the growing public outcry. As more details about the alleged theft emerged, many royal watchers began to question whether Camilla had truly acted within the spirit of the monarchy's values. For the royal family to claim such treasures as their own, regardless of the technical ownership, seemed to fly in the face of the public's perception of what was right. Diana's sons, particularly Prince William, had always been seen as the rightful inheritors of their mother's legacy, and the idea that Camilla had unilaterally taken these items felt like a breach of an unspoken trust. The royal family's strategy in dealing with these accusations was, for the most part, a quiet one. There was no immediate response from Camilla or King Charles themselves. Instead, aides and insiders worked to shape the narrative behind the scenes. This approach, while typical of royal crises, did little to quell the growing media frenzy. The longer the silence lasted, the more speculation grew. Why was Camilla refusing to speak out? Was there more to this story than met the eye? As the days passed, some began to question whether the royal family was too slow in addressing the scandal. This was not a minor issue. This was an accusation of theft, a charge that, if true, could severely damage the reputation of the entire family. The lack of a public defense from Camilla made it appear as though the royal family was trying to bury the story, hoping it would fade away with time. But in the age of social media and 24-hour news cycles, stories like this had a tendency to linger, and the longer the palace stayed silent, the more the public's distrust of Camilla grew. Some royal commentators even speculated that this silence was a sign of deeper issues within the royal family. Had Camilla's position as queen consort become untenable in the face of these accusations? Was King Charles prepared to stand by his wife, or would he distance himself from her in order to preserve the monarchy's credibility? These were questions that the royal family had to grapple with, but publicly, they remained tight-lipped. Meanwhile, public opinion remained divided. On one hand, there were those who supported Camilla, arguing that Kate's accusations were nothing more than a smear campaign. These individuals believed that Camilla had been unfairly vilified for actions that were, in their view, justified. Others, however, found the allegations deeply troubling. For many, the thought of Camilla taking these jewels without permission was a step too far. Diana's memory was sacred to the public, and to see her legacy tarnished by such actions was unforgivable. In the midst of all this turmoil, the royal family's future seemed uncertain. The monarchy, already facing challenges in terms of public perception, was now confronted with the very real possibility of a scandal that could shake its foundations. The fallout from this scandal was only just beginning to unfold, and it was unclear whether the royal family would be able to weather the storm. For Kate Middleton, the stakes had never been higher. Her decision to speak out was not just about her love for Diana or her desire to protect her legacy. It was about standing up for what she believed was right. The royal family had long been seen as a symbol of stability and tradition, but if these allegations were true, then that symbol had been shattered. Kate's confrontation with Camilla was not just an accusation, it was a wake-up call for the royal family, a reminder that even the most cherished institutions could be vulnerable to the flaws and failings of its members. As the scandal surrounding Queen Camilla's alleged theft of Diana's jewels continued to unfold, public reaction was swift, intense, and highly polarized. Royal scandals, by their very nature, attract widespread attention, but this particular controversy struck a deep chord with the public. The matter at hand was not just about royal privilege or family drama. It involved the emotional legacy of one of the most beloved figures in British history, Princess Diana. Diana's tragic death in 1997 had left an indelible mark on the nation, and her legacy had only grown over the years. She was a woman who had captivated the hearts of millions with her compassion, her charity work, and her ability to humanize the monarchy. Diana had been the people's princess, and her death had sparked an outpouring of grief and sympathy from all corners of the world. Her sons, Prince William and Prince Harry, were seen as the torchbearers of her legacy, and the jewelry that had been promised to them by Diana was, to many, an essential part of that legacy. The thought that these precious items, meant to symbolize Diana's love and memory, had allegedly been taken by Camilla, who had once been one of Diana's greatest adversaries, ignited a firestorm of public outrage. For many, this wasn't just about stolen jewels, it was about a deeper betrayal. Diana's sons, who had already suffered so much in their young lives, were now, according to Kate Middleton's claims, robbed of a tangible connection to their mother's legacy. The outrage was palpable, and it was directed squarely at Camilla. Social media, which has become the platform of choice for public discourse, was flooded with comments expressing shock, disbelief, and anger. Hashtags like #RoyalTheft and #JusticeForDiana began trending, as royal watchers, fans, and ordinary citizens weighed in on the situation. It wasn't just about the jewelry anymore. It was about the principles of respect and legacy. The public wanted answers, and they wanted them fast. Why had Camilla taken these heirlooms? What did she hope to gain from such an act? For some, the idea that Camilla had stolen these items seemed almost fitting, given her past. Many had long viewed her as an opportunist, someone who had inserted herself into the royal family after a tumultuous affair with Charles, and now, allegedly, she had taken Diana's jewels as well. The anger was not just about the theft of material possessions, it was about what that theft represented. To many, it was the latest example of Camilla's disregard for Diana's legacy and a deeper betrayal of the royal family's principles. But not everyone shared this view. There were those who defended Camilla, arguing that the entire scandal had been blown out of proportion. They suggested that the jewels in question were simply part of the royal collection, and that the claim of theft was nothing more than a misunderstanding. Some even went as far as to argue that Kate Middleton's accusations were a carefully orchestrated move to undermine Camilla's position within the royal family. These defenders pointed to the ongoing tension between the younger and older generations of royals, suggesting that Kate may have been using this controversy as a way to further solidify her standing within the monarchy. Still, despite these defenses, the majority of the public remained skeptical. The royal family, despite its long history of maintaining an air of secrecy and decorum, was not immune to the increasing demands for transparency. With social media amplifying every detail of the scandal, there was little the royal family could do to contain the narrative. The questions kept coming. Why had Camilla taken the jewels? Had she truly acted without permission? And what would the royal family do to rectify the situation? Public opinion was not the only force at play in the aftermath of the allegations. The press, always hungry for a sensational story, had picked up on every detail of the scandal. Newspapers and tabloids ran headlines declaring royal theft and Camilla's betrayal, while television networks aired round-the-clock coverage of the unfolding drama. The press frenzy only added to the sense of urgency surrounding the scandal. People weren't just talking about it, they were demanding action. It was clear that this wasn't just a royal family issue, it was a public relations nightmare that had the potential to destroy the monarchy's carefully crafted image. The royal family's ability to weather this storm depended on how they responded. Would they publicly address the accusations? Or would they remain silent and hope the scandal would fade? If they chose to remain silent, would they lose the public's trust forever? In the midst of the chaos, a new voice emerged. A royal insider, who had worked with the royal family for years, came forward to provide more context to the story. According to this source, Camilla had never intended to harm Diana's legacy, but rather, she had taken the jewels as part of her personal collection, believing they were rightfully hers. The insider suggested that there had been confusion within the royal family about who had ownership of certain items and that the entire situation had been blown out of proportion. While this insider's account may have served to calm some of the public's outrage, it did little to resolve the underlying issue. The damage had already been done, and Camilla's reputation had been severely tarnished. The monarchy, once a symbol of stability and respect, now appeared vulnerable, exposed by a scandal that threatened to shake its very foundations. As the weeks went by, the royal family faced growing pressure to make a public statement. With each passing day, the public's frustration grew. People wanted answers, and they wanted them from the very people who had allowed this scandal to fester. The longer the royal family remained silent, the more they risked losing the public's trust, not just on this issue, but on their ability to handle future crises. The royal family has long been an institution built on tradition, respect, and an almost sacred adherence to duty. For centuries, the monarchy has remained a symbol of stability, an entity that weathered scandals, political unrest, and personal betrayals without ever showing cracks in its foundation. But the public fallout from the accusations against Queen Camilla over the alleged theft of Princess Diana's jewels has raised one of the most significant questions the monarchy has ever faced. Can the royal family survive a scandal this personal and this public? The monarchy, as it exists today, is not the same as it was in previous centuries. With the rise of social media, 24-hour news cycles, and the increasing visibility of royal family members in the public eye, the royal family is no longer the distant, unapproachable institution it once was. It's now part of the global conversation, with every move, gesture, and statement scrutinized by millions. This new reality has placed the monarchy under intense pressure, forcing it to adapt in ways that it never had to before. And yet, for all the modernization the monarchy has gone through, it remains deeply rooted in the past, in traditions, in inherited titles, and in the expectations of the public. So, when accusations like those leveled by Kate Middleton, the future queen consort, arise, they not only affect the immediate parties involved, but also the very institution of the monarchy. The royal family's image, so carefully crafted over generations, has been tainted by these allegations. The public now finds itself questioning not just Queen Camilla's actions, but the integrity of the royal family as a whole. Can an institution built on tradition and duty survive when its members fail to live up to the expectations placed on them? The monarchy's response, or lack thereof, has been equally telling. In the days following Kate's public accusations, royal aides and insiders quickly sprang into action to craft a narrative that could contain the fallout. This response, or rather the lack of a direct response from the royal family itself, has raised even more questions. Royal watchers, journalists, and the public all wondered why King Charles, who had long been seen as the modernizer of the monarchy, did not address the situation more decisively. Was the monarchy attempting to ride out the storm by remaining silent? Or were they trying to protect Camilla from further scrutiny? But the silence has only fueled the fire. The royal family has a long history of avoiding public confrontation, but in today's age of transparency and immediate feedback, this approach may no longer be enough. In previous times, scandals were handled behind palace walls, away from the prying eyes of the media. But now, everything is in the open. Royal family members, including King Charles and Queen Camilla, must now navigate the complexities of public opinion in real time. The days of sweeping royal scandals under the rug are gone. Public trust in the monarchy has already been tested in recent years, particularly with the departure of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle from royal duties. The couple's decision to step down from their roles, coupled with their ongoing critiques of the royal family, added fuel to the fire of public discontent. The royal family was already struggling to maintain its relevance and respect in the face of changing public expectations, and now, this new scandal has opened another wound. For the monarchy to survive, it must adapt to this new reality. The public is no longer willing to blindly accept the family's authority. In the past, the monarchy's word was considered law, its actions beyond reproach. But now, thanks to the power of social media and a more engaged and informed public, the royal family must contend with a level of scrutiny that previous generations of royals never had to face. If Camilla's alleged actions are proven true, it will not only affect her personal reputation but could also have a lasting impact on the royal family as a whole. The monarchy's future will depend on how it navigates this scandal and its aftermath. Will King Charles and Queen Camilla take the opportunity to show the world that the royal family can still hold itself accountable and address mistakes? Or will they continue to avoid confronting the public head-on, hoping that the storm will pass? If the monarchy is to survive in the 21st century, it must prove that it can be as modern and adaptable as it is rooted in tradition. This scandal, though it may seem like just another royal controversy, represents a larger turning point for the family. How the royal family responds, or fails to respond, will shape the monarchy's future for generations to come. The public, too, will play a crucial role in the monarchy's survival. Can the public's trust in the royal family be repaired? Or has the damage been done? Diana's legacy has always been a unifying force for the British people, and any attempt to tarnish that legacy will only serve to divide public opinion even further. If the monarchy wants to continue to thrive, it must regain the public's trust. But as history has shown, trust, once broken, is not easily repaired. As Kate Middleton's accusations continue to make headlines, the question remains: will the royal family manage to repair the damage? Or will this scandal signal the beginning of the end for the monarchy as we know it? Only time will tell. The question of who will inherit Princess Diana's iconic jewels has long been a subject of royal speculation. These jewels, which were not just gifts but treasured symbols of Diana's identity, hold immense sentimental value for her sons, Prince William and Prince Harry. They are not merely objects of luxury or wealth. They are the final, tangible connections to a mother who, tragically, was taken too soon. For William and Harry, these jewels represent a piece of their mother's legacy that they hold dear. But with the recent scandal involving Queen Camilla, the question of who will truly inherit Diana's treasures has taken on new urgency and complexity. It was widely believed that Diana's sons would inherit her jewelry collection, ensuring that her memory lived on through them. The jewels were not just symbols of her status as a royal but were a reflection of her personal taste, her relationships, and her role as a mother. In the years following her death, these pieces were seen as a bridge between Diana's past and the future of the royal family. It was assumed that William, as the eldest son, would eventually pass the collection down to his own children, ensuring that Diana's legacy remained alive within the family. But now, with Kate Middleton's accusations against Queen Camilla regarding the alleged theft of these jewels, the matter has become far more complicated. The idea that Camilla, who has been a central figure in the royal family for many years, might have taken these jewels from William and Harry is a betrayal that runs deep. For many, these jewels are not just valuable objects. They are irreplaceable mementos of a mother and a princess who captured the hearts of millions. To think that someone outside of Diana's immediate family could take possession of these pieces is, for many, a shocking violation. If the accusations are true, it raises an important question. Who, then, truly owns these jewels? Was there a misunderstanding within the royal family about the rightful heir to these pieces? Are they considered part of the royal collection to be passed down to whoever occupies the throne? Or were they always meant to stay within Diana's immediate family? The legal complexities surrounding royal inheritance are immense, and this scandal has made those complexities painfully apparent. For Prince William and Prince Harry, the thought that these jewels might be lost to them or taken without their permission is not just an affront to their mother's memory, but a personal betrayal. As Diana's sons, they were always expected to inherit these pieces, and the public view has long held that they were the rightful heirs. But if Camilla has taken these pieces, it raises questions about the future of Diana's legacy. Would Diana, had she been alive, have wanted her jewels to be part of the royal collection, or would she have wanted them to remain in the hands of her children? The matter of inheritance in the royal family has always been a sensitive topic. Titles, land, and jewelry are passed down through generations, often according to ancient rules and customs. But when those rules collide with personal wishes, as in the case of Diana's jewels, the question of who holds the right to inherit becomes far more contentious. The royal family has long been regarded as an institution of stability, but as this scandal has shown, there are cracks in the foundation that are difficult to ignore. One thing is clear: the royal family will have to address this issue head-on. Whether or not the jewels are returned to William and Harry, the question of who holds rightful ownership of Diana's legacy will continue to loom over the monarchy. As the royal family faces increasing scrutiny, it will need to take steps to ensure that its legacy, and the legacy of Princess Diana, remains intact. For William and Harry, the inheritance of their mother's jewels represents more than just a legal right. It represents the preservation of a cherished connection to a woman who was taken too soon. The loss of these jewels, if they are truly lost, is not just a blow to their personal heritage, it's a blow to the memory of Diana herself. The question of who will inherit these pieces is not just about wealth or status, it's about the enduring power of Diana's legacy and the way in which that legacy is passed down through the generations. For Camilla, the controversy surrounding these jewels is a reminder of the fragile nature of her position within the royal family. Once seen as an outsider, she has spent years working to establish herself as a respected member of the monarchy. But if the accusations against her are true, this scandal could undo much of the work she has done to rebuild her image. The public's reaction has been swift and unforgiving, and the pressure on the royal family to address the matter is mounting. Whether or not Camilla can recover from this scandal remains to be seen, but for now, the question of who will inherit Diana's jewels remains unresolved. The royal family, long seen as a symbol of stability, now faces a crisis that could change the course of its history. The scandal surrounding Queen Camilla and the allegations made by Kate Middleton have put the monarchy under unprecedented scrutiny. What was once a revered institution is now teetering on the brink, as accusations of theft and betrayal spread like wildfire. The question on everyone's mind is whether the monarchy can survive such a scandal, and if so, what the future holds for its members. The royal family, as an institution, has always been resilient. It has weathered countless storms throughout its long history, surviving personal scandals, political upheavals, and the ever-present pressure of public opinion. But this is a new era, one in which the monarchy is no longer the untouchable institution it once was. The public's access to information is greater than ever, and social media has given ordinary citizens a platform to voice their opinions on matters that were once confined to the elite. This new landscape has changed the way the royal family operates, and as this scandal unfolds, the monarchy's ability to adapt will be tested like never before. Kate Middleton, once seen as the picture of royal diplomacy, has now become the focal point of the controversy. By speaking out, Kate has shattered the carefully constructed image of royal unity. Her accusations against Queen Camilla have struck a deep chord with the public, but they have also divided opinion within the royal family itself. Some insiders argue that Kate's decision to speak out was necessary, while others believe that it was a misstep that could have long-lasting consequences. What is clear, however, is that Kate's actions have irrevocably altered the public's perception of the monarchy, and the fallout from this scandal will be felt for years to come. For Camilla, the allegations have been a devastating blow to her reputation. While she has spent years trying to rebuild her image and earn the public's respect, this scandal has threatened to undo all of her hard work. The accusation of stealing Diana's jewels is not just a matter of material possession. It strikes at the heart of the royal family's values. If the public believes that Camilla has betrayed Diana's legacy, it will be difficult for her to regain the trust and affection of the British people. The damage to her reputation is immense, and the royal family's silence on the matter only adds to the sense of unease that surrounds her. King Charles, too, faces a difficult situation. As the head of the royal family, he is responsible for guiding the monarchy through this crisis. But the accusations against his wife, Camilla, have left him in a precarious position. Does he defend her, knowing that doing so could alienate the public and his own family? Or does he distance himself from her, risking a fracture in their marriage and the monarchy itself? For Charles, the choices are fraught with difficulty. He is caught between the need to protect the institution he has worked so hard to lead and the desire to stand by his wife, a woman who has been by his side through so much. The future of the monarchy may well depend on how Charles navigates this delicate situation. As the royal family grapples with the fallout from the scandal, the public waits for answers. Will Camilla be held accountable for her actions? Will the royal family take steps to address the accusations and restore its credibility? Or will this scandal mark the beginning of the end for the monarchy? These are questions that will continue to loom large as the story unfolds. The public's response to the scandal has been mixed. Some express anger and disbelief, while others defend Camilla, arguing that the situation has been blown out of proportion. The debate over the monarchy's future is intense, with some calling for greater transparency and accountability within the royal family, while others argue that the institution should remain above reproach. The royal family's ability to manage this crisis will determine not only Camilla's future but also the future of the monarchy itself. One thing is certain, this scandal has exposed cracks in the monarchy's carefully crafted image. For years, the royal family has been a symbol of tradition, unity, and grace. But as Kate Middleton's accusations have shown, even the most revered institutions are vulnerable to the flaws of their members. The monarchy's ability to adapt to a changing world will be tested, and the outcome of this scandal may shape its future for generations to come. As the dust settles from this royal scandal, one thing is clear. The monarchy is facing a crossroads. Kate Middleton's public accusations against Queen Camilla have cast a long shadow over the royal family, and the fallout from this controversy will likely be felt for years to come. The royal family, once seen as an unshakable institution, is now vulnerable in ways it never has been before. The questions raised by this scandal, questions of loyalty, legacy, and respect, will continue to haunt the monarchy as it navigates the turbulent waters of public opinion. The future of the royal family depends on how it responds to these challenges. Will King Charles and Camilla be able to rebuild their tarnished reputations, or will this scandal irreparably damage the monarchy's standing in the eyes of the public? The monarchy's survival may hinge on its ability to modernize and adapt to the changing world while preserving the values that have kept it relevant for centuries. For Kate Middleton, this moment is one of personal and public reckoning. By speaking out, she has taken a bold stand for what she believes is right, and in doing so, she has shifted the balance of power within the royal family. Whether or not her actions were justified, they have shown that the younger generation of royals is no longer content to remain silent in the face of wrongdoing. The monarchy, once defined by its silence and restraint, is now faced with a new reality, one in which its members must navigate the complexities of modern public life with transparency and accountability. The future of the monarchy is uncertain, but one thing is clear, the royal family will never be the same. Whether this scandal will mark the beginning of the end for the monarchy, or simply be another chapter in its long and storied history, only time will tell. But what is certain is that the monarchy's ability to evolve, learn from its mistakes, and reconnect with the public will determine its place in the future. The monarchy, an institution that has long been viewed as a symbol of tradition and endurance, now finds itself in the midst of a crisis that is testing its very foundation. Public reaction to the accusations against Queen Camilla has been swift and fierce, and the scandal has sparked an outpouring of opinions from every corner of the world. The people, once steadfast in their loyalty to the monarchy, are now divided, with many questioning the integrity of the royal family and its ability to adapt to modern expectations. One of the most striking aspects of this scandal is the way it has amplified public discontent. While royal scandals are nothing new, the allegations surrounding Camilla's alleged theft of Diana's jewels have touched a raw nerve. The British public, who has long held Diana in deep reverence, sees these accusations as not just a personal betrayal, but an assault on her memory. Diana was not just the wife of the future king. She was an icon, a beloved figure who captured the hearts of millions. Her tragic death left a void in the royal family, and her sons, William and Harry, have been seen as the torchbearers of her legacy. The idea that Camilla, a woman with a controversial past, might have taken the precious items that Diana had left for her children feels like a betrayal on a monumental scale. The public's reaction has been largely shaped by their emotional connection to Diana. For many, the jewels that were meant for William and Harry represent not just an inheritance, but a link to their mother, a piece of her that they can hold on to in the absence of her physical presence. The thought that these jewels could be taken, especially by Camilla, whose relationship with Diana was fraught with scandal, has ignited a fierce sense of injustice among the public. Diana was beloved for her warmth, compassion, and human touch, qualities that endeared her to the people. To see her legacy possibly tarnished by a royal family member, especially Camilla, has been deeply upsetting for many. For some members of the public, the outrage is not just about the jewels themselves but about what they symbolize. These pieces of jewelry were not merely ornamental, they were symbols of Diana's role in the royal family and her life as a mother. For Diana's sons, inheriting these pieces was a way of preserving their mother's spirit and ensuring that her legacy endured. The idea that Camilla could have taken them without regard for their significance feels like an insult to Diana's memory. The public sees this as not just a matter of royal inheritance, but a matter of respect for Diana, for her children, and for the legacy she left behind. But not everyone shares this view. There are those who have defended Camilla, suggesting that the entire scandal has been blown out of proportion. These individuals argue that the jewels in question were part of the royal collection, and that Camilla had every right to take them as the queen consort. They believe that the public's emotional attachment to Diana has clouded their judgment and that the entire situation is based on misunderstandings and miscommunications. Some even suggest that Kate Middleton's decision to speak out was a calculated move to create division within the royal family, furthering her own agenda. These defenders point out that the royal family has long maintained control over its possessions, and that the notion of individual ownership of royal heirlooms is complicated. Many royal items, including jewelry, are not strictly owned by individual family members but are passed down through the generations as part of the larger royal collection. In this light, they argue, there is no clear, rightful owner of the jewels. But despite these arguments, the public remains largely unconvinced. For many,